Phainon, the deliverer of Amphoreus and the last man standing of the Chrysos heirs. The Black Tide has taken the holy city, the civilians are defenseless, and the last of the demigods have been picked off one by one. Besides Casterus, but she's too busy handling the massive amount of casualties, and if you believe that Hayacine is still alive, then I've got bad news for you. Leaving only our white-haired Kevin XP to bear the weight of the entire world on his shoulders to take up the mantle of Kefali and bring forth the Era Nova. But this leaves one question. If this world is the cradle for the birth of Lord Ravager, as Herta mentioned, how does this come into play? Well, that is the question that I attempt to answer today. Because I have heard for a long time the rumors and predictions going around about Phainon being the Lord Ravager, and in this video I hope to give this theory the attention it deserves by analyzing the much needed how and why. Because this is Phainon's fated future revealed. Okay, so in order to talk about a Lord Ravager, we gotta understand what these infamous beings are. I went into all of the known ones in a previous video, but just a quick rundown is that a Lord Ravager is an emanator of destruction that of course has received the power of Nanook themselves and are all from worlds that Nanook has either destroyed or they have no home world at all. They all have their own personalities and preferences on how and why they like to destroy things. For example, Fantilia is just a straight up sadist that feeds off of human emotions and likes to destroy people's body and soul from the inside. And then on the other side of things is Zephyro, who just thinks blowing up planets is pretty, and he's the most powerful one. And since Aeons tend to give their emanators different amounts of their power, I don't think the reason really matters, it's just the sheer amount of widespread destruction they are willing to cause. Because Nanook's entire motivation is that the universe itself is a mistake that needs to be wiped clean. Why? Well, this leads me to something that is truly concerning and has everything to do with Amphoreus. Are you ready? Good. Because Nanook wasn't always an Aeon. In fact, they were from a world called Adlevon, the Diamond World. A world that was in the line of fire of both the Swarm Disaster and the Machine Emperor's Wars, which eventually led to the ascension of the Aeon of Destruction. Yup! You heard me right. Rupert, the creator of the Scepter system and thereby Amphoreus, is half the reason why Nanook even exists. And when you look at it this way, if Rupert helped create an Aeon, why wouldn't his world create a Lord Ravager? Amphoreus is an infinitely resetting world based around the weaknesses of humanity failing over and over again for tens of thousands of years, with the same souls recycled to play the game from a different role in each and every cycle, all while being forbidden from leaving or receiving help. The Trailblaze being an exception, of course, but without the help of a memo keeper, not even Akavili themselves found this place. So Amphoreus is very much a torturous prison run by a genius who hates organic life so much that he learned what humiliation was just to execute a galactic leader with it, before of course wiping all organic life from said galaxy. And again, Amphoreus is a creation of one of this guy's planet-sized neurons. That's what an Emperor's Scepter is. Which brings us to Phainon, because something he said really caught me off guard. He said that he was able to identify with two worlds from our journey thus far, Eurilo 6 and Penacony, which threw me for a loop because the Shinjo's generals are basically demigods all fighting the abundance that would serve as a Black Tide-like enemy. But then I realized that that's not what he means. These two worlds left a deep impression on him for a much deeper reason. The first reason being the fate of the world should be in the hands of its people, and the second being the Trailblazers sacrificing themselves for a prison world. Because as we know, the people of Amphoreus risk divine punishment for even trying to go beyond the sky. So after meeting us, this world in the eyes of Phainon very much seems like a prison, something that gets reinforced when Ligus flexes that he is bathed in the gaze of distant stars. And this only makes Phainon feel even more trapped and left out. He's heard the stories of the places we've been and the adventures we've had, meanwhile he's getting the knowledge that his world has been reset countless times and he's in fact trapped here for eternity. And this is all after he's either watched his mentors die or left his friends that gave his life meaning to die, leading him to the realization that the prophecy he childishly actually dedicated his life to following wasn't what he thought it was at all. The justice promised to all who chased the flames was nothing but a pipe dream, fated to end in suffering and death, something that very well may repeat in this so-called Era Nova he's been chasing this entire time. He was never chasing flames. He and all of his companions were chasing false hope, something Lygus knew this entire time. This is all a part of Rupert's design after all. But as the world bearer and the last man standing, what will Phainon do? Well, I believe that we've got some insight on how exactly Phainon is feeling right now. Remember Lady Seliose, the legendary Chrysos heir who started the flame chase, known for her innocent and naive faith in humanity, only for it to be shattered by the realization that her people were corrupt? What did she do? She went scorched earth and decided to purge them all. And it's awfully poetic that another legendary warrior with golden blood known for his innocence and naivete learns that his life goal was nothing but false hope, leaving him broken by the newly gained understanding that everyone he knew and loved died for a pipe dream. And just as they died in this world, they must die again in the next era's flame chase in the place of the Titans. The flame chase is ending exactly how it started, which suggests that Phainon will either not reset the world or reset the world and immediately destroy it. Because what if the world bearer refused to bear the world and instead tossed it aside and let it all fall after witnessing just how corrupt this world is through the lens of divinity? And the sad part is, we already see this Seliose-like transition happening. Lygus literally tells him the people out there are suffering and you will bury everything with that core flame. And Phainon says, it doesn't matter. And this hurt me, because this, along with the fact that his name is gone, only drives it home further that the Phainon we knew and the Phainon we met in 3.0 is gone. The fall of his mentors and companions has finally taken its toll on him, and he has gone numb, which leads him to say something that I didn't think I would ever hear him say. If the world is a mass of chaos, I will tear it apart. Now, the word choice here is key. He's not looking to fix it, heal it, or sort out the chaos. No, he will tear it apart, which is the most Nanook way of dealing with the problem that I could ever think of. How do you deal with the chaos? Blow everything up. There can't be chaos if there's nothing left. And again, to look at Nanook's entire motivation, you only need to change a few words for it to match Phainon. Watch this. The birth of this world is a mistake. If the black tide is a cancer emerging quietly from beyond the sky, then war is the only common language known to all intelligent life. To correct this mistake and to clean up this tainted world, Phainon became the emanator of destruction. I only changed nouns. Phainon's new goal is to go scorched earth just like Lady Seliose did. If he has to destroy the world to save it, he will do so without hesitation. And it is for this reason that he could very well become the Lord Ravager we've heard of all this time. Because Hoyo didn't give us this entire story on Lady Seliose for no reason. The foreshadowing is in place. I thought initially that he would fight for justice and hold on to his innocent ideals and naivete, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. This journey broke him, and just like Kevin, we may need to be the ones to stop him from doing something rash and extreme that he himself views as necessary. And defeating him may be the only way to save him. Because Kevin from Honkai Impact 3rd turned himself into a cold-hearted monster with the sole goal of defeating the Honkai, a threat from beyond the sky that doomed humanity for over 50,000 years. And in the end, Kevin himself didn't even like his own final gambit and did everything he could to let Kiana, Mei, and Bronya prove him wrong. That the chaos of the Honkai could be defeated without humanity falling into an eternal dream. Yeah, sorry, Sunday wasn't the only one with that plan. Kevin tried it first. But even though what stopped him was the power of friendship, it was mainly because of the power of, wait for it, the Finality You knew it was all coming full circle. I will never stop pushing my finality theory because it's cool and a satisfying ending where everyone gets to live happy lives in a true era nova. And what is this finality theory? I'm so glad you asked, because from the very beginning I have been screaming from the rooftops that Amphoreus needs a true new beginning. Being trapped in a loop means having no future. They can only return to the past to repeat their own mistakes. They are a world of memories that don't even really exist. But that's why we're here. And Amphoreus has a heavy symbolism with being an epic and with mythology and being a story, even with Cyrene wishing to turn a new page in this story. But I believe that what Amphoreus truly needs is to be rewritten. And this is why the Trailblazer's weapon is a pen. It is us who will rewrite this story and shatter the world, bringing forth the new beginning this world so desperately needs. We saw this teased in the Nameless Faces video all those months ago, with the lyrics singing desire in mind to set our spirits free. Echoes fade to oblivion, freedom to make our own. We trod our destinies on a path unknown. And this path unknown can't be the cycle we already know. This can only mean the true unknown, resulting from their spirits being free from this prison that they are trapped in. And this is where the solitary waves theory comes into play, because the scepter is quite possibly calculating how each and every single cycle will end, quite possibly predicting the precise future of Amphoreus, something that wouldn't be possible if this world was connected to the other paths in the universe, because true free will and connection to the paths from beyond the sky means that the power of erudition, the scepter, even Nous themselves can't calculate a precise future. This is a true unknown we are talking about here. And as we get closer and closer to the conclusion of this story, this only becomes more and more plausible. So bringing this all back to Phainon, the foreshadowing we've seen points towards Phainon following in Lady Seliose's footsteps. His own words reveal his potential intention to tear this world apart, and even his predecessor became the final boss, just like he might. So I do believe the possibility that this is the fated future of Phainon revealed. And what if I told you that Cyrene is also pushing him in this direction too? Because she never wanted him to be a deliverer in the first place. And all evidence points towards her, along with Orynyx, working against the Flame Chase as well. Heck, even the Flame Reaver is working against the Flame Chase. He says the world must reset, but he's kind of tweaking out, so he could be missing a knot here and there. And actions do speak louder than words. And speaking of action, there is no action that speaks louder than tearing a world apart. However, I do not think that this means that Phainon will be evil. In fact, I would go so far as to predict that if Phainon ascends to become a Lord Ravager, he will be our one and only good guy Lord Ravager, destroying things that truly deserve to be destroyed. But what do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace, y'all.